Hi, everyone. It's Lori from Crystal Earth Magic. So what if your loved ones don't wake up? I know that that's on a lot of your minds. It's on a lot of people's minds. What if they don't wake up? And years have gone by since this split in humanity. It's still kind of hard to wrap our minds around. And we do see people waking up, but the question is, what are they waking up to? We've got so many things going on. And we hopefully have learned in the last few years that we really can't be responsible for anybody else and for anybody else's journey. It is their journey. So, as distressing as it may be that people still can't hear you, people still don't understand what you know is your truth, they believe just as much in their truth. And as light workers, as service to others, individuals, whatever we want to call ourselves, we need to allow people their journey. Now, I am of the belief, and let's hope I'm correct, I'm of the belief that there will be many more people waking up before this is all said and done. This is a planetary ascension after all. Will everyone wake up? Probably not. But I think a lot of people still will. And even the people that are still reticent to accept truths that are basically in all of our faces, even those people are starting to question the narratives. There are many narratives going on simultaneously. You know, we have the government stuff. We have warmongering. We have the medical stuff. We have the political stuff. We've got, you name it, any institution that exists in our reality is basically collapsing. And it's getting harder and harder to deny the fact that we are going through a planetary ascension. Now, how long will it take? That's anybody's guess. I think that the faster people do awaken to the truths, the quicker in our linear time that this will happen. But as many of you already know, this has been going on since before humanity was even humanity. 450,000 years we've been under tyrannical, nefarious, negative rule. There are so many things to understand. And basically, if people do not understand ultimately the ET aspect of everything that's happening and where it came from, they're going to have a hard time wrapping their head around things because their whole world is basically a lie. Now we've found that out. Now, some of us have known that for decades, others really, really woke up to a lot of things in 2020 with all of the events therein. And since. And even since then, more and more and more people are starting to question all these narratives and wondering, hey, do all these institutions really have our good at heart? And we can definitively say no, but everyone has to come to their own conclusions, or else it's not really their learning. We cannot step in the way and try to regurgitate all of our wisdom, all of our opinions, is how they're going to see it. We can't do that and expect someone to hear us unless somebody is asking. They are not listening, and this can be extrapolated to any area of our life. If someone has not asked your opinion, then they're really not going to listen if you give it to them, and they're probably going to get angry with you. But what if my family doesn't wake up? What's going to happen to them? When we look from the higher perspective, and that's always the place to look when we are in turmoil about something going on down here in our little 3D reality. When we are in turmoil about something, going up to that higher perspective, going into meditation, going into nature, however you get yourself still and centered, and look at from above. Now, think of times in your life where you knew something to be true, and years later you found out you were wrong and you've changed your opinion. And then maybe a few years later you change your opinion again. If someone, and probably some people did, if someone had come to you at that time and you know, told you their truth and you're wrong and da, 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 how would you have responded? You know, and maybe this has happened to probably most of us, you know, somebody telling us things. And I remember back when I was working in the operating room still, and we had one doctor and several of the PAs that I worked with would tell us stories about, well, some of the stuff going on now, shall we say. I don't even have to outline what it is. And we would roll our eyes and say, there they go again, there they go again. Well, my apologies to all those people, because I was not awake and I could not hear you because I did not ask for your opinion at the time. So now I'm aware of things, and many of us are aware of things, but how do we prove anything in this energy? There's really nowhere to go to verify things. The only thing we have that is the true barometer for each and every one of us, and it's going to be different, is right here. Okay. Everybody's got one. Our heart knows the truth. And be open. If you keep an open mind and an open heart and stay in that love vibration, stay in that higher perspective vibration, we're going to be able to discern the truth, at least the truth for us, much easier than if we're down here arguing with people, trying to get our point across, trying to prove ourselves right. We don't need to do that. The truth stands on its own and it doesn't need defending. However, everybody is entitled to their soul journey. And it's very difficult for a lot of people living in what I call divided houses, where you still can't have a conversation. Your vibrations are like this, and family, friends, loved ones that you used to be able to communicate with and really get along with, everything has shifted, especially since 2020. And some of us who woke up earlier, it shifted back then, or it started shifting back then. You know, I know for me, it was back in 2009, and I thought I was awake, believe me, because I was into all the woo-woo stuff way before that. But 2009 is when it really happened for me. And systematically, things that did not serve me were removed from my life. Now, much of it was with ease and grace and a little slower, you know, so I had time to integrate things. Some things came very rapidly and were a big surprise. And the people who have not been delving into their search for truth, not been delving into working on themselves, not been looking into all of these aspects that don't serve us as these institutions crumble, as they have to. How do we build a new earth unless these institutions crumble? Everyone needs to see it for themselves. So, you know, at this point, a lot of people are still willfully ignorant about things. I do believe that will change for a lot of people. But what if it is your loved ones? My dear soul tribe, I wish there was something I could say. I wish there was something we could all do to wake people up, but we can't. All we can do is be that living example. If we are arguing, if we are fighting with them, if we are coming in with a low vibration to try to get to them because that's the only place we can communicate, they're not going to buy it because we're not espousing our truth and our light. We have to live our truth. We have to be that living example. And I know a lot of you are doing that, and still people don't wake up. Again, wake up to what? There are so many aspects of this spiritual temporal war going on that it's very hard to pigeonhole one particular thing. Some people are awake to the politics. Some people are awake to the military stuff. Some people are awake to the medical stuff. Some people are awake to the ET stuff. Some people are awake to the alternative medicine stuff. But there's so many more aspects to this. And together as humanity, we are going to delve into this for years and decades and generations to come. You know, I know a lot of us were hoping that this was a quick one and done, right? And I think that most of us are coming to that conclusion that this is going to take a little while for the entire world, the entire humanity to actually get on the same page and unite. You know, all of the tactics of division are still working on the majority of the population. People are taking sides about everything, whatever they can use to divide us. Now it's war, right? the medical stuff, everything, politics, everybody is still divided when all we have to do is see that there's one humanity, and what's good for one is good for all. What's good for all is good for one. The law of one that was in Atlantis, that was in these ancient civilizations, that the masters have tried to show us and espouse. What's good for one is good for all. We have to all come together and stop the fighting, and stop the angry, and stop the I'm right, you're wrong, stop the division. Everybody's got an opinion, and you know what they say about opinions, everyone has one. They're like other things people have. Anyway, so if your family doesn't wake up, dear ones, there is nothing you can do except to be that living example. When they see you living in your peace, your truth, your joy, they're going to wonder what you have that they don't. They're still reeling in the darkness. And for some of them, that is a journey that they need to go through. Other ones will wake up. Other ones will figure it out. Other ones will quiet the mind control, the propaganda that's been going on for eons, ever since we have existed on this planet. You know, the ET portion is something that a lot of people are really going to have a hard time wrapping their minds around. But you know, for a complete understanding, until we really understand that what has divided humanity for hundreds of thousands of years wasn't human to begin with. So that will all come out. When is anyone's guess? But I think we're close. I think we're close. You know, in the next few years, certainly in the next decade, everything is going to change. And let's hope sooner than later. But when people are confronted, no matter how bullheaded they may be, no matter how opinionated they may be, no matter how much closed-mindedness exists in the conversation, when people are confronted with this, they're going to have to change their opinion, or they're just, it's just not going to work for them. This is their soul journey, you know. There may have been other times when we had a chance to ascend and we didn't take it on this planet, on other planets. And awakening doesn't mean ascending, but it is the first step. Realizing what is truth in this reality, realizing that everyone has the right to their own opinion and their own stuff. And as long as it isn't infringing on anyone else, then great. The problem is it's been infringing, and the powers that were have used people who were mind controlled, propagandized, unaware, blissfully ignorant, all of those things. They have used them to be the police force for all of us to do what they think is right, even though we know better. We know better. And they have always weaponized humans against humans. And that's a big thing to come to the realization of. That is a huge thing. That is a first step. Sometimes it only takes a little chink in the armor, right, to open the door. And then, I mean, think of how it was for all of us. One thing doesn't make sense, and you start to look, and you start to research, and you start to find out all sorts of other things that don't make sense. And it becomes an avalanche of information. Now, a lot of things are harder to research now than they might have been 10 years ago, but yet there's way more information out there than there was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, for certain. And this awakening is coming like an avalanche. It really is. It's happening everywhere, even though the media will tell you that it isn't happening. It's happening. Look around. Everything, it looks so scary to so many people. And that maybe is what's going to catapult someone into the research, into the opening their mind, into the listening to someone who is walking in their truth and their peace and their joy, and saying, how can you not be scared? They want you in fear. You know, you see your family in fear, and you want to help. Of course you do. You want them to come with you on this ascension journey. And you guys have faith. Have faith. You may see little changes, or you may see big changes. I know a lot of people are saying their kids are waking up in droves. You know, they used to think that the parents were the crazy ones. they're waking up in droves. The older folk, it might take a bit. At least that's what I'm seeing in my clients and in my own world. The older folk may take a while because they're a little more set in their ways. They're also not on the internet or on social media as much as the youngers. So the information doesn't come as easy. They've learned to trust the news on TV and the newspapers and all of those things that most of us don't even have anything to do with anymore. You know, I know very few people who still watch the news or read newspapers, but yet a lot of the older generations do. So again, they'll come to it. They'll come to it. I think that most people are going to get it. Most people are going to very easily raise their frequency in order to make this shift wherever it's going. You know, everybody's going to have a choice. If you want to stay with the old ways and the division and the fear and the anger and the living in survival, basically, for your whole life, okay, then that's your choice. And when you're done with that, you can come play with us in the new earth, where we're going to live in love and high vibration and higher consciousness and compassion and joy and honoring everybody's truth. So don't worry. I know a lot of you put a lot of energy into worrying and still forcefully trying to awaken your loved ones. Don't worry. I really, really think it's all going to happen very quickly. And we're here to help them through this. A lot of us have been awake for a long, long time. And we're here to help them through it. We will be that anchor when everybody is freaking out, when everybody is screaming and yelling, thinking that there's really, really scary things happening. We're going to be that anchor saying, it's all okay. We're taken care of. It's all okay. Yes, we are all going to have to do our part. Absolutely. We're going to have to never let this happen again, meaning we're going to have to be educated about what happened, who did it, on every aspect, all of those places that we've already talked about, and especially the ET portion. I think when that happens, that's game changer. And I don't think it's that long off. It can't be. It can't be. You know, most of us, probably if you're watching this, you do connect with ETs. And the benevolent ones, of course. The negative ones were here using us basically as slaves and to control us for hundreds of thousands of years. Like I said, most of them have been systematically removed from the earth realm. Are there some left? Well, sure. There's still hybrids. There's still all sorts of nefarious things, mind control, propaganda, all of that going on that has changed people into that service to self individuals where they don't care about anything but themselves. There's a lot of them out there still. I still think some of them will have a change of heart. Other ones won't be able to make that shift. I believe most people are good. You know, the majority of people in this earth are good individuals. They might have had a hard road. You know, they might be in survival, and so they can't really tap into the goodness that they are, the love that they are, all of the beautiful benevolent energy that's around us from source, from the benevolent star families, from the angels, from the ascended masters, all of the help that we have. You know, a lot of these people are stuck in dogma of certain religions that didn't serve them. It meant to disempower them. You know, other people, no matter what the religion says, they turn that into a positive and they still find God, and they find the God inside, regardless of how they were brought up or what religion it was. So again, it comes down to the individual, and it has to be their journey. It's their soul journey. You can't step in and do it for them. Even if it's your kids, you can't step in and do it for them, or you're interfering with their karma. You're interfering with their soul journey. And it's not going to be pretty if you do that. That is not what we're here to do. We're here to show how it could be. You know, what did the masters who walked the earth do? They showed how it could be, and they espoused their truth and their love and their compassion. They didn't try to ram things down people's throats. So we've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop letting the powers that were divide us, because it's still happening on a grand scale. You know, so many people are walking around in fear and survival. How do you reach somebody that's there? They're like scared, wounded animals. You know, you can't just approach them. in the way that you would approach someone who is more open-minded and calm and peaceful. So let's just wait and see what happens. Please don't worry. Don't worry, because worry only lowers your vibration. And then you can succumb to some of the propaganda and the fear and the mind control, and you're not going to be in your peace or joy. So no one's going to believe that what you're doing is working. See what I mean? The more that we can do that, people see it's working, and they want to be happy. They want to feel better. They want to be joyful, and they just don't know how. And that's when they'll ask you, and you're going to be the living example for everybody around you. You guys, the time is coming. It's coming. Again, nobody knows. Anybody that says that they know is full of it, in my opinion. So hang tight, work on yourself. When you become that walking example, people can't deny that. They'll say, yes, you're different. You've changed. Your vibration's different. Yes, because it is. And that's a good thing. And you can love them, even though they may be yelling at you, railing against you, denying you your sovereignty. You're in your sovereignty. It doesn't matter what anyone else says or does, and the more of us that unite and stick together and just live and let live, we're going to have to dismantle a little bit more, probably a lot more, of these institutions, but you can see that they are crumbling. And they're going to be replaced with beautiful, benevolent things for our new earth. And we're all going to be there making it happen. That's why we're here. It's why we're here. And if your family is meant to come along, they will. Just love them. If you have to love them from afar, love them from afar. But just love them and let them walk their path. I think they're going to come to it eventually. There are so many moving parts to this whole scenario going on right now with humanity and with Earth that we can't possibly understand all of them. And we can't put a linear timeline on something that's event driven. We can't put a linear timeline on something that is multidimensional and therefore out of space and time. And all of us are part of source energy. Yes, we're here in this third dimensional reality, and we're walking this linear timeline, and we believe there's time. And yes, everything we do is tied to that. But y'all know, when you're in meditation, when you're in your zone, when you're doing healing, when you're doing something you love, there is no time. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. And the more that we can do that, I think the better that we can help the collective and the earth, and ultimately our loved ones, to awaken from the dream, the bad dream, the nightmare. But again, humanity had to go through this to see it, to really earn our ascension. It can't just be given to you, right? It can't just be given to you. You have to earn it, so that it sticks, and it will go with you through every lifetime. Every lifetime you've ever lived or will live, it will ripple out through all those lifetimes and becomes part of your core energy, forevermore. And anyway, so don't worry, work on you. We're all in this together, whether people know it or not. We are all in this together. And holidays are coming up. Just love them. Just be in your truth. If you have to put a shield or a bubble up when you go to grandma's house for Thanksgiving, then do it. Okay. Do what you need to do, but still love them. Have compassion. If someone asks you, fine, but otherwise find something that you can agree on, because there's always something that you can agree on, especially when there's love. Okay. Anyway, this is Lori with Crystal Earth Magic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful weekend.